All right, we are here, Mr. Fedko, and you are back from your trip south. You missed yours last week. I guess obviously the big story now is the getting ready for this series tonight. Let's start with that just real quickly. How many games do you think the Pirates will win? How many do they have to win? How many can't they lose?
I think they can't lose 5. I think anything other than a 5-game sweep will be okay. I'm talking about as far as their playoff chances are concerned.
Yeah.
I think they can't lose 5. I think they're going to win 3.
I think they're going to win. I like
they're going to win 3.
The Liriano matchup tonight.
Yep.
I like Locke and Burnett.
Those are pretty good ones. I mean, Locke didn't pitch well over the weekend. Yeah. He walked 6.
They can't. Nobody can hit him.
No, he did really. He struck out a lot of people.
Yeah.
Look, it's not about the Pirates pitching right now. It's about their hitting. They got to start hitting. This is crazy. I mean, they made some of those Marlins pitchers look like young Sandy Koufaxes. I mean, Jose Fernandez is one thing, but that was a really lost weekend. They're having problems right now at the plate. I don't know how you get out of it. Like I said, I like Jay Bell as a person. I'm not quite sure he's a great hitting coach.
I don't want to get into the hitting coach thing. He looked like a pretty good hitting coach for stretches this year when they were hitting, the Marlins hitting coach just quit, Tino Martinez.
Well, I understand that.
See why?
Why?
Well, the player said he yelled at him.
Well, I didn't see that.
He was mean to them.
I didn't see that.
Then he was like, calling them out.
I don't
know. Who knows what that means?
I'm not into big hitting coaches anyway, but we're big into that anyway. And I'm not using any excuses. But when you start seeing enormous patterns like striking out a lot,
60 times in 12 games. That has to be the most ever in the history of baseball.
Start looking at the pitching coach.
Do you think there's ever been a team that struck out more than 60 times in 5 games?
That's crazy. I know those are crazy numbers.
I mean, I don't know. I'm too tired to look it up.
And they're not doing it against Drysdale and Koufax. Okay, so something's wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Something's wrong. I mean, and again, I'm not going to do the juvenile. I'm blaming the hitting coach, but I just am going to start looking at everything. What is going on? I think it's a number of things, okay? But it absolutely has to do with their approach at the plate. And it's very disconcerting as they go into a 5-game series against the best hitting team in the National League.
See, some people would take the Pirates stat sheet and look at it, and I had Ken Maka one time. He was looking at this. This was back before he became the Oakland manager. He was in town for something, and I've known him since back in our minor league days, and he had the Pirates stat sheet, and he said, "I'm just looking at this stat sheet right here." He said, "I see guys on this sheet. If they went up to the plate and swung at the first pitch, I'd yank them." He said, "You gotta. There's not enough walks on this sheet. You got to walk. You got to get walks. If you're not getting walks, that means you're not hitting. You're not being smart about your hitting. I mean, you can't have almost a total lack of walks on your stat sheet. You gotta bring those up, and you do that by not being as aggressive at the plate and having good at bats and all that. And that's kind of the Billy Ball part of the Billy Ball philosophy is on base percentage, right?
It is. There's been some interesting conversations about that this year, John, because the pitchers have never been so dominant since the 60s. Pitchers are dominating right now.
They're striking out a lot of people.
There's a lot of great young pitchers. Chris Archer with Tampa, Jose Fernandez with Miami, Garrett Cole with the Pirates.
20, by the way, but go ahead.
You don't believe Jose Fernandez?
No chance. Okay. I'm not saying he's 40, but he's not 20.
Okay, well, there's just a lot of great Shelby Miller.
Yeah.
Okay. Of the Cardinals. So there's which I don't think the Pirates are going to get. He pitched last night. There's a lot of great young pitchers out there. Why are they dominating so much? A lot of people think, not a lot, but I've heard the conversation several times, that it's Billy Ball, that it's trying too hard to draw walks, trying too hard to get up there and be patient. You get down 0-2 to great pitchers, you're done.
Okay.
I mean, the stats throughout life that baseball's existed say if you get down 0-2, you're not just protecting the plate.
Well, your batting average drops by
dramatically.
Half.
Yeah, it's like even Ted Williams. I mean, all the great hitters. Yeah. It's going down to like 140. Okay, so the problem is everybody's learning from Billy Ball because it is the modern fad thing. Because look what Oakland's doing again. They're winning again.
Right.
Okay. but it's also perhaps causing people to be too patient, getting down 0-2, and pitchers are dominating now. So they're, the great hitters, John, this is a real strange dichotomy, but the great hitters usually are not patient. They're Miguel Cabrera. I'm going up and pounding the ball. You come near me in the strike zone, I'm hitting it. The biggest example of that's Prince Fielder. Watch Prince Fielder. He's so fun to watch. You ain't walking, Prince Fielder. You come near the plate, he's swinging. Okay, and Vladimir Guerrero is the primary example of he just hit anything. He just just either striking out or he's hitting the ball. So a lot of the great hitters are not drawing walks. They're up there. You come near me, I'm going to hit the ball hard somewhere. So I think there's a. So
you think it's swinging the other way, that the pitchers are taking advantage of the hitters going up there passively taking the first pitch, so they're throwing a strike on the first pitch.
I think it's definitely happening.
I'd like to see how many times Marte has taken a strike on the first pitch.